think we're on. I think we're on. And soon, yes, we're on. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, everyone. This morning is going to be a little bit of a wild one. So if you guys don't like conspiracy theories, don't like weird stuff, and if you guys believe what you're told in the media, this video is not going to be for you. We're going to be talking about digital ID, Storm Amy, and the biggest scam ever told. Now, I'm going to come on to digital IDs first, guys, but when I am going to talk about the biggest scam that you've ever been told, and this, when we find out about the depths of this scam, and when more people understand how deep this scam is, it will put the COVID scam in absolute, it will pale everything else into insignificance, guys, okay? So we'll start with digital ID. Now, I've been getting a lot of questions and a lot of inbox messages. Sean, are you going to have the digital ID? Sean, are you going to take the digital ID? Sean, are you going to do it? I'm like, right, okay. It's like, it's very difficult to go, like, as a single person, it's very difficult to go against that system. Now, I'm just going to read you guys an article that was released this morning. This is from GB News. New digital ID card will not be known as the brick card, says number 10, as support plummets. The government's new digital identity card will not be known as the brick card, Downing Street has confirmed. The digital identity card, unveiled last week by Keir Starmer, was immediately dubbed the brick card, and that was the name given to the scheme by Labour Together, the influential left-wing think tank close to number 10 in the summer. The concept of a brick card immediately led to pushback from politicians in devolved UK regions, notably Northern Ireland, where nationalists would have boycotted the scheme if it was known as brick card. So just quickly, before I go into this, do you guys know that in Europe, cheese and onion crisps are not called cheese and onion? I don't know if you know that. In Europe, they're called French cheese. But here in the UK, we wouldn't buy French cheese, so they had to change the name. Anyway, with an interview with GB News as Chopper's political podcast, Scottish Labour leader Anna Sewell said he had been given assurances that the new ID would not be called the brick card. So look, guys, where is everybody on this? Like, how? Like, I think everybody is on the general consensus that nothing good comes from this brick card. You know, it's gonna. I mean, if you look what's happening in China. You know, if you look how these things happen in China, and the example I give, is when somebody gets money taken out of their bank account and they have no say what's happening on that, that's not a good thing, and I do believe this will happen, and I do believe this is coming. So, anyway, sorry, more about the digital ID. The digital platform can be used to verify your identification when you go for a job, for an employer to verify your identification, which they have to do in a paper form, and they can do that in digital form now. And that's what they're claiming. They're claiming that this is necessary to stop illegal migration. And honestly, guys, I just don't see anything good coming from this. I don't see how this is going to enhance anyone's life. So people are saying, Sean, sorry, I'm going on a side quest here. So I've had a lot of messages, similar messages saying, Sean, are you going to have this digital ID? What are you going to do? How are you going to get around it? And what I've said to people is, look, if it's made impossible for me to live without this brick card, then of course people will naturally have to take this brick card. Or the digital ID, whatever it is. But I do think, and this would be my advice, and I guess this should go out on a 1-minute video as a short advice. My advice, if you're against it, try and hold out as long as possible. That's my advice. Just try and hold out as long as possible, Just try and hold out with that digital ID as long as possible. If enough people just say to themselves, right, okay, if I have to have it, I have to have it, but I'm going to hold out as long as humanly possible. So that means You know, that means making mistakes when you're filling it in, asking for somebody to, so, you know, when like, so, you know, during the time of craziness when we all had to have the medication, can you believe that we were getting phoned up by doctors asking us to come in? Can you remember that happened? You know, and you don't have, and when that happens, and I don't know if this would happen with this brick card thing or the digital ID, but for example, if somebody phones you up, you know, and they say, are you having the brick card? Just say, yes, I want to have digital ID. I'm just struggling uploading my documentation. I can't find the right documentation. Can somebody help me? You know, just try and delay it as long as possible, guys, because I don't see anything good coming from this brick card or digital ID. Again, that's my opinion. I'm welcome to an adverse array of opinions. If you guys think the brick card's going to be good, if you guys think it's going to be less government control, less centralization, and if you guys think the digital ID is going to actually empower you, I'd be really interested to hear from that from you guys as well. Guys, I'm going to come on to Storm Amy, and then we're going to talk about the biggest scam that you have ever been, the biggest scam ever. And this scam that we're going through right now, it is the biggest scam, and I've actually found evidence. I found evidence that confirms it. It's evidence from NASA as well. Right, so I'm going to get the chat on TikTok, guys. Fiona Lube, Janet Nightfall, Marky Mark. Sorry, I wonder if that's the real Marky Mark. Victoria, Alison Burton. Lots of people joining, guys. I'm just going to come down to the comments. Linda Lou is saying, morning, Sean. How are you? I'm good. I'm good. I'm feeling fresh. I've got the apples frozen. The apples are out of the freezer now. They're all defrosting. I think I'm going to have to do 2 runs with the making the carbonated drinks. Leanne's joined. Hello, Leanne. Rhonda McIntosh. That sounds like a really Welsh name. Rhonda, are you from the valleys, B? So you are. Jeannie's joining. Matty, Stu, Googly, share the live. Thank you, guys. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I guess we're on now. Can you do me a real big favor? Like, comment, subscribe. If you're watching on TikTok, hit those buttons up there. If you're watching on YouTube, the buttons are down there, somewhere in one of the corners. And if you're watching on X, the buttons are up there. April Lee is saying, morning, but I can't stay due to a job. Oh, April Lee's got to work this morning. Priv Caro is saying, morning, have you been on long? I have not been on, Priv Caro. 10 minutes, and we've been talking about digital IDs. Dee Marie Gen X is saying, good morning. Priv Caro is saying, Raven, I don't know if you saw my comment last night, but close to our border, they are told to learn to map read instead of GPS. Apparently, Russia is GPS jamming. Do you know what? It's funny you mentioned that, Priv Carol. I saw. Let me put this. Sorry. So the comment there is from Priv Carol, who's in Norway, and she's saying people on the border are told to learn map reading because apparently the Russians are jamming GPS. A couple of months ago, I was driving around and I saw lots of police cars. I was thinking, that's odd. Anyway, I looked at one of the. I looked into one of the police cars, and there was 2 officers, and they were map reading. And I did a video on this, and I said, "Listen, guys, has anybody else seen this?" And it turns out, and this is just me speculating now, that. Well, I believe that the police have been doing a big map reading exercise whereby they've been operating in their vehicles without GPS. Now, just think about that, guys. You know, think about if the GPS signal went down in the UK, all your police, emergency police, fire engines, ambulances, emergency services, they would all be gone. Because let's be real, guys. All right, the police and the ambulance services and the fire service. I would speculate that they don't map read anymore. I'd say they just click those numbers in the GPS and go. And the police in the UK, police in the UK a couple of months ago, maybe even a bit longer actually, I can't remember. They were doing a map reading exercise. You know, I remember looking in the windscreen of the police car, and one of the police officers was like that on the map, and the other one was driving. And I've done enough of those map reading exercises to understand what was going on. Tina is saying, yeah, they're claiming everything will be faster, but just to place the people, it's terrible. I don't, okay. What's that word you're using there, Tina? Placed it. Just to place that people? I don't know what that means. Jodie Lee is saying, morning, everyone. Good morning to you. Google it is saying US to share intelligence with Kiev on long-range targets in Russia. Yeah, so I think I'm going to talk about this tonight. Tonight's live stream, I'm going to give you guys the problems and solutions with modern warfare. But Google is saying there that US to share intelligence with Kiev on long-range missile targets inside Russia. So does that mean they're doing it out of the goodness of their heart? Or does that mean the Americans are telling the Ukrainians, right, we'll give you missiles as long as you take out these targets, because we don't want those targets. And then you get missiles, we get those targets destroyed, and we can claim ambiguousness. We can claim it the fifth. We can claim it wasn't us. Danny Boy is saying, if the Brit cards is to stop people working, if they don't have it, then what about them that already have a job? So what I would say is going to happen. So you've got to look at these things. You've got to look at these things that they're all connected. So the initial phase of bringing this digital ID in was to absolutely destroy the smaller employers. So smaller employers, maybe, I don't know, they employ a restaurant, some like a restaurant, a pub, independent that maybe employ 5-10 people. Destroy them. Make it impossible. I mean, look, guys, Greg's is going to be gone soon. Greg's will be gone soon. Mark my words, Greg's will be gone soon. Today, they've had to put their prices up because and this is a perfect example, guys, all right? Greg's, because they've had to put their prices up, less people are going to go in. That's the fact. That is the hardcore truth of capitalism, guys, okay? People vote with their feet. There's not going to be a big rally. Oh, it's disgusting. Greg's about, the government have done this. Oh, let's all go and spend our money in Greg's. No, people will just think, right. I mean, guys, look, it's £1.95 for like a cheese and ham. Or is it for a little one of those tray bakes, whatever they're called? It's like £1.95, and I'm like, they cost like 12 pence to make or something. But anyway, Greg's are putting their prices up. So when I'm talking about Greg's now, you can take this and put this on any other business. So Greg's have had to put their prices up because of government employment taxes. That means that less people are going to be buying from Greg's because the prices have gone up. That means Greg's are going to get less money. That means Greg's are going to close down. That's how it works, guys. That is absolutely how it works. They're going to, at a very minimum, they're going to have to close a lot of stores. And then those people are going to be unemployed. Those people are going to be taken off the government because they're going to be unemployed. And we've now got more people searching for less jobs. Because you've got more people searching for less jobs, it's harder to get employed. Because it's harder to get employed, more people are on welfare. Because more people are on welfare, they have to raise taxes again. Raising taxes drives people into unemployment. And you see where we're going with this. But anyway, sorry, Danny Boy. I totally, again, I went on a side quest. So Danny Boy is saying, what's going to happen if people who already have jobs? Well, like I said, phase one is to destroy that small jobs market, which is, I would say, it's gone. My sister's in that sphere, and she's talking about selling up right now. Right now, she's talking about selling up, and I think a potential buyer's coming in today. Anyway, so that's gone now. So the only people that are employing are big government-backed corporations now. And those big government-backed corporations, they will just say, right, you want a job with us, you need to have your digital ID by this day, or we're going to unemploy you. And that will be it, you know, and your job will be filled, guys. Be under no illusion. There's a lot of people applying for a lot less jobs. So not only would I say your job will be filled, but your job will be filled within 24 hours, and they'll probably be paying them less as well. So that's where I think it's going. And that's why I keep saying, guys, all right, I know it's not going to be for everyone. I know not everybody is going to be able to hold out and resist, but just try and resist as long as you can. Just that's what I'm at. If you're against it, and I don't want people to feel like they've let themselves down by having this digital ID, because I get it. People have got kids. People have got mortgages, car payments, car repayments, loans. You know, I totally get it. But if you're against it, just try and hold out as long as possible. And one of the things they used to teach you in the military, you know, if you're getting interrogated, first of all, what they teach you in the military is not to lie if you're getting interrogated. Do not lie. Don't lie about anything. Because it always comes back and bites you. So when you're doing like resistance to interrogation, which I guess this was what it would be, you know, your employer will be interrogating you. Right, Danny boy, why have you not got your digital ID? Rather than say, I am not having that digital ID. I'm against it 100%. It's to bring in control in the new world order. Oh, we're all going to be eating bugs and we'll have nothing and be happy. I'm not into that. I resist. I do not consent. They'll just say, right, okay, see you later. There's thousands of people queuing up for your job. What you need to do is delay. Delay. So what they teach you when you're being interrogated is be confused. You know, sorry, I don't understand what you're talking about. How do I do that? Can you give me some more explanation? Can you just explain it to me one last time? I don't have that information. I'm trying to help you, but I don't understand. You know, this is what I mean, guys. You know, people are telling me, you know, Sean, will you have the digital ID? And I'll be honest with you guys, if I need to have it, and there's no other way around it, then of course you've got to have it. And I think that's where the government's going at the moment. And I don't see a movement. I don't see any direction. I don't see any way around this now. What I do think will happen is they will, with this digital ID, what I think they will do is they will say, okay, we're not having digital ID. We're having an identification that's digital. And everybody will go, hey, yeah. And it will be like a really watered down version. It'll be like a really watered down version, but believe me, guys, that watered down version will be the first pinnacle of a wedge that will slowly be hammered in when people have forgotten about it. Yeah, so I don't. Unfortunately, guys, I'm really struggling with the digital ID. Right, so let me jump up and get the rest of the comments. Wow, there's so many comments today, ladies and gentlemen. I can't believe it. I think we've got the most comments here that I've ever seen. Right, I will jump over to YouTube in a second, guys. Hang on. There's so many comments. Right, done that one. Done. Tina is saying, I said this ages ago. How can young people read maps? They wouldn't have a clue, most of them. You know, it's funny, actually. I was shouting at my eldest the other day because we was out map reading. I was like, right, where are we? And she's pointing with her finger. And I'm like, no, use a blade of grass. Use a blade of grass. Priv Carroll is saying, everybody uses GPS in ambulance, fire trucks, planes, everyone. Lucky I live in the South. Yeah, guys, listen, can you imagine here in the UK if the GPS, imagine right now in the UK, if the GPS went off, and you needed to phone the emergency services. Where are you? Oh, you give them your postcode or whatever. Oh, right. Somebody's going to have to get the old A to Z out. Yeah, good luck with that. Oh, DMarie Gen X is saying your employer is obliged to submit all employee. Hang on. Where did that go? Right, I can see it up there. Right, your employer is obliged to submit all employees. Right, guys, the chat's going crazy at the moment. It's jumping up and down like a Russian drone. Your employer is obliged to submit all employee card details, so employers will enforce it, I've read. Basically, the employer will do the government's dirty bidding. Yes, I agree. And the donkey work for them. I agree 100%. And D. Marie Gen X is saying jambon. Jambon. I don't know what that means. Right, this chat is going absolutely wild. It's jumping up and down. I can't try and get any of the comments. Done that one, don't I? D. Marie Gen X is saying 125 jobs lost at an oil refinery yesterday. Sharon Owen is saying, stock up on your coffee. Price is about to rocket. Right, hang on, guys. This may be critical. Right, I can't find anything. Right, I will stock up on coffee, though. I think it's always a good thing to have be stocked up on coffee. Sarah May Gen X is saying, morning. Google is saying Nigel is going to resign this year over a money scandal. Starmer will in May next year. I don't think they will. I don't think Farage will resign. I don't think he can resign. And Starmer, I think Starmer's here for a long time, guys. I really do. I think Starmer's here for a long time. Timsky is saying, morning. Googly is saying, a woman will take the PM after Starmer resigning and an early election will be called. I don't think so. I don't think those things are on the cards, guys. I really don't. I think Starmer is going to be in for a long time. D. Marie is saying, Sean, we're just waiting on you to secure Ravensburg in Antarctica. Yeah, and we're off. And Danny Boy is saying, loved how you use my name. Well, there we go, Danny Boy. Googly is saying, after the general election, the next party will get in and at least full years. I don't see that, guys. I see this election cycle going right up to the last safe moment in 2029. Sharon Owen is saying Tony Blair is replacing Klaus Schwab. Lulswell saying hi. Sharon Owen is saying Israel wants to control TikTok and employs influencers. I don't know how this is working. I know that somebody bought TikTok. I don't know who it was, but you know, this happens widely. Like, who watches Maya Tusi? Have you noticed how Maya Tusi's subscriptions went massive over the last 3 months? Timsky is saying, do you think Wi-Fi down in Afghan is USA tracking taking the Bagram Air Base? No, I think it's just they don't want people to know what's happening. I was in Baghdad on in like 2012 or something, 2011, 2012, and they turned the internet off. So we was in Baghdad in the green zone, and we were working for a security company for the British Embassy, but we weren't staying in the British Embassy. We were staying just outside. We could see the British Embassy from the roof. One night, all the internet went off. So we all, like, you know, you're in your little villa and the internet's gone off. It happens sometimes. So we're trying to, everybody's trying to get on the internet. Nothing had worked. And then somebody tried to phone, I think his name was Ramya. He was like the internet guy. Somebody tried phoning Ramya. He's like, yeah, my phone doesn't work. He was like, what? He's like, yeah, my phone doesn't work. So the internet had just been turned off. All our phone signals had gone. The next thing, these Iraqi tanks started to block the entrances of the street of the little estate area that we were living in, and there were lots of security companies in there, lots of international security companies in there, and all these tanks started to block the entrances. Guys, if you ever want to know fear, that was fear. Then there were just hundreds of Iraqi troops just swarmed the area. So now we're thinking, right, okay, is this it? Are we all going to get the things removed and like be in an Iraqi prison? So everybody ran onto the roof. We took all his guns and stuff and ran up onto the roof. We remembered that the week before, everyone had to hand in like any anti-tank devices we had, like 66ers basically, which is like it's a small rocket launcher basically. It's not a rocket, but it's a grenade launcher. So everybody had to hand them in. So now we're on the roof, and all we've got is small arms fire. We could see the embassy, the British embassy. If you run to the British embassy, you can be safe. But we couldn't get through to them. No internet, no phone, radios wouldn't work. And what the Iraqi military were doing is and our security guards, which were local Iraqis, they took their T-shirts off and just ran off. They just ran off. They're like, yeah, I'm good. I'm running off. I'm gone. Luckily, they were clamping down on security companies that had not paid their, their rent or whatever licenses they need to have to the government. But guys, it's terrifying when that happens. It really is terrifying. There was me and 4 other guys. Initially, we was on the roof, and then we said, right, this is pointless because if we're on the roof, it's like the last stand, so we need to be down on the ground. And what we did is we got down on the ground and we said, right, if this gate opens and they come through, we're going to fight our way back to the British embassy, and we're just going to blast out. We're going to fight our way back to the British embassy. It was tense, guys. It was real tense. But yeah, I think in Afghanistan, they just don't want people to know what's happening. Danny Boy is saying Starmer responds to racist and sexist comments by the Met officers. Yeah, I mean, look, guys, if you get people drunk and goad them into saying things and secretly film them, I don't think that should be. I don't think that's fair. Israel is showing out and is saying Israel wants a meeting with Elon Musk because they want to work with X. Google is saying Starmer is not lasting after May. Right, we'll have to see. I think Starmer will be. I think Starmer's going to be going right up to the next election, guys. Maybe just before. Priv Carroll is saying my therapist today. She started talking to me about prepping. Even she is getting worried for sabotage. Yeah, these things are coming, guys. Google is saying Starmer will be ousted by Labour. I can't agree with you, Sean. I'm saying it will last until 2029. Well, I guess we'll see, guys. I guess we'll see. His literal MP said they are not prepared to get rid of him if May elections go horrible. Said they are prepared to get rid of him if the May elections go horrible. See, this is the thing about politics, guys. All right. If you're in control, you can't really do anything. And of course, the May elections are going to go horrible. But I just don't think, okay. So if we're saying we're going to get rid of Starmer, who's going to step up? He surrounded himself with ostriches. Is David Lammy going to step up? Lisa Nandy? Obviously, if we're saying it's a woman, Jess Phillips, Diane Abbott, is she who's that person? Who's that person waiting in the thickets? There is no one. Danny Boy is saying, I think this is all to distract us from looking up like that film, Don't Look Up. Yeah. Danny Boy is saying, I was in Baghdad, September 2010. I think it was after 2010. I think it was 2011. And Google is saying, I think Starmer being ousted will come as a big surprise. It would be a big surprise, you know, a surprise that I'm just, you've got to understand where Keir Starmer comes from, you know, and the levels of subversion involved. And I just don't see I don't see who else could jump up in his place. Debbie 9783 is saying someone tried reporting Starmer for inciting violence. Martin Quinn is saying Larry Harrison has put $4.2 billion into Tony Blair's digital ID. You know, look where people are putting their money, guys. People don't put their money into places that are going to fail. It was on Radio 4 in the morning at 4:30, saying it was going ahead without our say so. Yeah, and this is what will happen, you know, with the digital ID. Guys, listen, I've got Storm Amy and the biggest scam you have ever been told. You know, I've got to get through that in a minute. So let me get these questions, these comments, and I'll jump back over. You don't need to get it, but you'll get it by making your life hell. Sean, Googly saying, Sean, you know how you could see Sadiq Khan as Prime Minister? A psychic woman says a woman will become PM just before the election is called. We'll have to see, guys. We'll have to see. She says our Home Secretary may be that woman. Right, okay, ladies and gentlemen. Right, guys, before I go on Storm, I'm just conscious of the time here. I'm going to talk about the biggest scam that I believe this is the biggest scam we have ever been told. And I believe this eclipses anything that we've ever been scammed about before. So, you know, there's this war on carbon dioxide, the green agenda, like the green agenda. We've got to have solar power and we've got to have electric cars. Turns out from an article on September the 27th, and I will link this on the, if you're watching this on YouTube, guys, I will link this in the description on YouTube after this after this live stream stopped. I don't think I can do it now. I'm just going to read you this, and this is from September the 27th, 2025. Earth's oxygen is running out. NASA scientists warn of a future without breathable air. Imagine. Now they're saying, hey, just guys, I'm not making this up. I promise you, I'm not making it up. The culprit behind this slow motion catastrophe is our sun. As it gradually warms carbon dioxide molecules in the atmosphere, they will start breaking down. This sets off a chain reaction. Plants rely on CO2 for photosynthesis. And without CO2, plants can't produce oxygen. That's not me saying it, ladies and gentlemen. That is from the NASA website. It's not me saying it. That is literally from the NASA website, guys. So just think about that, guys. This is, I promise you, this is the biggest scam we've ever been told. And if any of you guys live in Lincolnshire, I don't know if you guys live in Lincolnshire, but if any of you guys live in Lincolnshire, they have like these massive greenhouses. They do like bedding plants and stuff in there, and they they sell them to supermarkets or whatever. And I've actually been to these to one of these greenhouses. Well, it was one company. I think he had like 4 of these really big greenhouses, huge. And they actually pump CO2 into that greenhouse to give plants, so those plants grow better, and then those plants grow better and produce more oxygen. So now we have this really strange dynamic in the world where people are against CO2. Oh, CO2 is destroying our planet. And I'm like, so straight away when I heard this, like years ago, I was like, how can that be when, if you go to any gardener, even go to your local garden center, and go and ask if they've got any CO2 pellets. They'll say, yeah, they'll sell you like a little box of CO2 pellets. And if you've got a small greenhouse, you put a CO2 pellet in and the plants thrive in CO2. So, you know, all this getting rid of cars, getting rid of CO2 in the atmosphere, that is, again, guys, listen, that it's not just me saying it. This is from NASA now. NASA are saying, like every gardener knows, that CO2 is critical for plants to photosynthesize. And without photosynthesis, those plants, trees, grass, flowers, they can't produce oxygen. And guess what? We need oxygen. I kind of like breathing oxygen. Even when I was in the gym yesterday, guys, I was taking a lot of oxygen in. So no photosynthesis, guys, means no oxygen. It's a simple concept. So that's what we're talking about here, guys. And this is an article released by, they're saying it's a domino effect of the sun warming up the atmosphere. So we need more CO2, basically. That's what this article is saying. Now, you know, this won't make the mainstream. Nobody will talk about this. It will just be brushed over because what's his name? Miliband's going to be going on his little crusade where we need billions. We need to invest billions in a machine that can capture carbon. What, like a tree? Maybe a tree or something? Should we plant more trees? Listen, I don't think there's a scenario where planting more trees isn't a good thing. I think everybody should plant trees. Try and plant one tree a week if you can. Oh, hang on a minute. Right, hang on. There's quite a few comments here, but quite a few comments here, and Sarah's just texted me something, which I think is the same as Googly. Yeah. Right, ladies and gentlemen, breaking news. Okay, breaking news. There's just been an incident at a synagogue in Manchester. I'm just going to give you this now from the headline. Sarah just sent me this. She's in the house. Multiple people at a synagogue in Manchester. Police are at the scene. Reported thing. Multiple casualties. Crumpsall Road, Greater Manchester. Let me get this up, guys. Sorry, I should probably do a live stream on this. Right, okay. Breaking news from 2 minutes ago, guys. I'm going to lead with The Guardian. I'm going to go with BBC because I can't get it done for fake news if I'm going straight from the BBC. Right, guys, there's been a reported... Oh, come on, load up! Right, ambulance service declares major incident. Ambulance service declares major incident. For the Northwest Ambulance Service has just put out a statement confirming a major incident has been declared in Crumpsall Road, Manchester. They say, following reports of an incident on Middleton Road in Crumpsall Road, the Trust has dispatched resources to the scene. We are currently assessing the situation, working together with members of the emergency services. Our priority is to ensure people receive the medical help they need as quickly as possible. Immediate danger seems to be over. Right, guys, listen, I'm going to close this live stream down and I'm going to open up a new live stream and I'm just going to focus on this, guys, okay? Yeah, we've got digital ID. Storm Aim is on its way. That's going to be here soon. So I'm going to close this down now, guys. I'm going to close it down on TikTok. I'm going to close it down on YouTube. I'm then going to literally come straight back on and I'm going to focus on this article, guys, okay? So I do apologize. I've not been able to get all your comments. I'm going to close this straight down and I will be back on within a couple of minutes, guys, okay? Sorry, guys. I'm literally going to open this live stream back